Hello everyone, welcome to Live from the Studio. I'm with Hexmode today. We'll talk a little bit about techno and news about modular synth, but let's start with the intro. Hello Hexmode, how are you doing?
Hey Franck, what's up, man? We're doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Hi everybody joining the show. It's live from the studio. I see I've got peronosphora, I got Forestine also here. There's a lot of activity this week on modular synth. So let's go over the news a little bit with Hexmode. So first, my site, pitchymango.org. I would like to thank all my supporters that makes this show possible and some of my music. If you want to become one of them, it's a little bit like my Patreon page. Go on the Bandcamp community, and you can join $20 a year, and that helps me to do some of these things. As I'm starting by my promo, that's subscribe to my mailing list. I've got some new t-shirts that were designed by Tech15, so that they are cool. They're on my shop, pitchymango.shop. So if you want to have some cool t-shirt, it's a nice retro look, robot, very, 70s. So if you want to have a look and get some of this t-shirt to go around town. Alright, news. We've got Resonant Frequencies, which is happening tomorrow at 6 p.m. I think there's a really cool lineup. I saw some videos on Instagram about the lineup and the artist spotlight. So it's tomorrow at 6 p.m. They are doing that, I think, every quarters. Because it's all remote and it's a live performance. Everybody is streaming live, so it's a little bit involved. That's why they are doing it every quarter. So tomorrow 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. and that should be an awesome lineup. What do we have also? We've got Bay Improviser, which is on Tuesday, October 13 at 8 p.m. I think my lineup is full. I haven't updated the page with everybody, but it's a cool one. Also, it's going to come soon. Tuesday, so it's not this Tuesday, it's a Tuesday in a week. We've got also Peak. Peak is coming up. I should put some links, sorry. I'm always forgetting about all this stuff. So Franck Live is here. I don't know if the sign up is full, but there's a sign up page on this link. Bay Improviser event for the 13 is this one. So I think the sign up is full, but I hope I'll really see you. Peak Live, that's their link to their YouTube, but they're also on Meetup. And I got the lineup yesterday, which is Jordan, Michael, Francis, and eurorack. And on Sunday, so it's the third Sunday of the month, so on the 18th of October, there will be also Sonic Sunday done by the Sonic Alliance. So here is a link to the Twitch. All right, I see a few people joining. Malaki just joined us. Morning, yeah, it's coffee time. All right, let's move a little bit on the new release. What I saw is that Emily Sprague is releasing a new album, and I think there is a pre-order, and it's called Hillflower Flog. It's quite cool. I use my Bandcamp Friday to order it. So yesterday was Bandcamp Friday, and it says the next one will be November 6th. So on Bandcamp Friday you can purchase music from artists, and Bandcamp waives their fees, so the money goes to the artist instead of their usually 20%. So that's a cool day. So you put your album in the wish list, and then on Bandcamp Friday, then you empty your wish list by buying them. What else do we have? We have got some other event. Also, we've got a Synth Boost, which will be on the 16th to 18th October. There's a cool lineup. Many people that you know. I think there's demonstration and tutorial and performance, so don't miss that. And right now, we've got the NorCal Noise Fest going on with some cool lineup, many people, but also some locals like Alpha Stair, Tanuki Spider Cat, It's quite a nice lineup, and it's all this weekend. It's NorCal. It's usually around Sacramento, but it's all on the internet. And I think I saw that they just published yesterday event, so you can rewatch it on YouTube now. All right, I think we are good. I'm going to swap a little bit this camera here to get Hexmode on the right one in big. All right, I've got everything. Hello, Alex.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, thank everybody for joining. Let's start by the usual question. So, who are you?
Good question. My name is Junaid, aka Hexmode. I've been doing modular for about 2 years now, and I've been playing around a bunch of different areas in Bay Area, resonant frequencies, and resident. That's how I started off.
Yeah, that's a nice place. I see also since some music join. So if you have got some question for Hexmode, put it in the chat, and I will relay to him. And don't forget, the subscribe, like, follow. And I'm going to put your Instagram page on the chat so everybody can go there and start to follow you.
Cool.
So that's a cool part. I need to hide. Sorry, I'm dealing with the technology here.
It's all good.
Yes.
I got it.
So, usually I do, I like to call it the origin question. So, how did you get into music first? Do you have a classic training? Have you done some, I don't know?
Yeah, I started off DJing and then producing. So I still produce house, techno sort of stuff. Been doing that for maybe 7-8 years now, and then got into modular maybe 2 years ago, and still produce, but I just wanted a little bit more tactile engagement with the music, and figured out that the groove boxes that were out were a little bit restricted, and the synths are a little bit restricted. So that's how I got started and kind of started diving into this.
Okay, so you were doing some, DJ techno in some place, or just for you, for fun?
No, yeah, we used to DJ on the East Coast, just throw some random parties, also in Dubai a little bit while I was there, and then just transitioned to producing mostly full time, and then tried to get back into the kind of live performance, which is really what I'm trying to focus this modular stuff on, is expanding it past just like simple DJing, just creating tracks on the fly as opposed to just playing other people's tracks, which is good and it's needed at a party, but just wanted something a little bit deeper.
All right, cool. I've got peronosphora that say hello to you and also to Prince Henry.
Nice.
I've got Udem also. I think he's watching from the East Coast. So I guess, I don't know. Peronosphora always, I guess, my question in advance, which is cool. So how did you get into techno? What's, what get you into the love of techno?
Yeah, I mean, techno just comes about through just parties, right? So you just go to some techno parties, and then you just start liking it, and then you're just like, oh, I want to make this into music. And then, I mean, it's definitely a groove, right, that you're trying to achieve and trying to get. And I figured out that modular was probably the best way for me to just get those organic sort of patterns and rhythms going. So.
Yeah. So before we go into modular, you say you perform a little bit in Dubai and on the East Coast. Is there a difference between the scene?
Yeah, I mean, like Dubai scene is like very mainstream EDM. I mean, I feel like now it's maybe a little bit more mature, but East Coast, you get everything, right? I mean, techno became quite big, at least from a mainstream perspective in the last like 5-10 years. And the East Coast really, there's some, a lot of good parties came down from like New York and stuff. So and even went down south. So, but definitely Dubai was very mainstream when I was there. I think it's a little bit more mature now, but nowhere near as kind of underground as some of the East Coast parties.
Yeah, I don't know. want to ask, what mature means. What mature means.
What mature means? What do you mean?
Well, you say, East Coast was a little bit more mature, so what does it mean?
Mature. Oh,
yeah,
mature. Sorry.
Excuse my French.
I saw all good, dude. I think mature meaning like, all right, so I mean, a lot of people now, mainstream, people get into dance music through EDM for the most part, right? Like you get in through like pop house or something, you get into EDM, maybe you go to some parties, and then eventually you transition into more underground stuff like techno and kind of it's usually like EDM then house, different versions of house, and then eventually techno. That's sort of the arc that I see in kind of people's electronic music progression. And I mean, East Coast, you pretty much get all of it all at once, and so, which is great. So you can go to, I mean, I used to go to dubstep parties a lot, right? Those were awesome. And that turned into bass music, bass house, which is still fun, right? But I think the eventual progression as people also get pretty old. So as people get older, you're pretty old too. So we just get into this, like, we just want more minimal stuff. I feel, I don't know why it ends up that way, but I think that's the progression of just promoters and clubs, just in the dance music world, as I see.
Yes, also, yeah. Well, it's. I was talking a bit yesterday with some friend. It's a little bit of progression, and we are looking for, new ideas and things that are, people taking risk with some new ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that absolutely, and I think now, at least, as far as music technology is concerned, hardware-wise, there's been this kind of resurgence of just live performance hardware that's been coming out from like every manufacturer, out of the box. I mean, this has been going on for years now. So, and I think that's great, right? Because people are getting away from the computer. They're even though it's more difficult to be out of the box from a production standpoint and just performance standpoint. It's way harder than DJing, but I think people like that kind of live performance element of it.
Yeah, it's the the tactile and see people doing things on the fly, and also we were talking like difference between live and the streaming, but distracting to the crowd and also try to pour your emotion into your performance piece. So it's not,
Yeah, exactly.
It's
hard to watch. I mean, during this quarantine, right? It's like all these DJ streams. It's really hard to watch. I don't know how people do it. It's like you watch this DJ just play songs for like an hour and a half. It's difficult to do. It just gets boring and repetitive. So at least it's repetitive watching anyone play, frankly, but at least with the modular, there's so much going on, and it's like a lot of it is like deciphering, or what is this person actually doing, right? Versus a DJ, you know exactly what they're doing. There's like 6 things DJ can do. So, and that's fine. If it's about the music, it's about the music. And so that's great. I just do a lot of mixes too, but live streaming has definitely changed. I think I'm hoping it pushes more people to do a live performance with groove boxes and synthesizers and stuff versus just having digital turntables.
Yeah, I see Fiona also joined and she say hi.
What's up, Fiona?
How did you get into modular? How did you start? Why so?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a good question. I remember exactly when it was. Like, I had a conversation with my previous coworker, and he was like, "Oh man, he really wanted to get into Series 500 modules, for mastering."
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to get this API lunchbox, which is like a case for API has this, it's primarily for mastering and mixing. And he was like, "Oh, I want to get this stuff," and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" Like, and then I had already known about modular because there's a music festival in Detroit, and then Detroit Modular, one of the stores, had a huge modular wall, and this was at the music festival. And I was like, "What the hell is this?" and then just played around with it for like an hour. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, there's just so many options. And so that was like my first step into it. And then afterwards, I spoke with this coworker like a year later, and he was like, "Oh, I want to get this." I'm like, "Hold on, I want to get some stuff too." And then I looked into Eurorack. I didn't really want to do it just for mastering, but I was like, I just want to get some more performance stuff. And then I bought a kit. Then I bought a case, bought some modules, and then I met you pretty soon after that. Actually, maybe like a couple of months after. Andy introduced us, and then went from there. Just jammed with you guys, and then joined Resident.
Yeah, no, that's cool. We're just showing some picture around. Yeah, no, that's interesting. By the way, I'll also put a link if people want to join the video chat and ask a question directly to Hexmode. That's cool also.
Yep.
It's a good evolution. I don't know on modular. So, how do you approach modular on for techno? Or I don't know. There's so many modules. So, is there some go-to modules for techno? Is there a specific flow? Or?
Yeah. So for me, it's interesting, right? So I don't know if you can see it here. I have the BeatStep Pro, and I bought that pretty soon off the bat, and it's just an amazing sequencer. I think for techno, it's really about sequencing and getting rhythmic patterns going, and it's a lot about the drums. And so for me, I just love oscillators. I just wanted all sorts of oscillators. So I have like 4, I think, here. And so it's just about like getting some evolving patterns. I can do that with the BeatStep Pro really, really nicely. I have pre-recorded drum patterns. And then from the oscillator perspective, I have plats. I just get like a ton of different oscillators. I do a lot of sub-mixing, actually. My whole sort of way of playing is sort of like a DJ set, honestly. It's just like an evolving techno set. Just like create a few bass lines as building blocks, a few drum patterns as building blocks, but really evolve those, and transitions is a big part of that. So like getting modules that create drum fills, for example, right? A lot of like interesting delay modules that allow me to like blend the transitions over from one track to the next. Also changing the pattern size, so you can do like little like melody fills and bassline fills and things. So yeah, those are just some of the different approaches. Having like maybe 2 bass lines going at once and sort of interplaying between them is another technique. I don't do a lot of like filtering stuff like a lot of people do with modular. I primarily use it. I'm trying to create this like groove box. Whereas a lot of people are just trying to create like sound machines, which is, I think, a little bit different, just like creating crazy sounds and seeing what comes up with it. I want something a little bit more structured. And I have like a 6-channel mixer which is like the hex mix, which is like the main module that I run all of my, so like 1 channel is kick, 1 channel is one channel is bass lines, the other channel is, synth and bass. The 3rd channel is like snare claps, 4th is like hi-hats, ride cymbals, and then the 6th channel is like vocals, percussion, and things like that. So I can bring in those elements in and out to make really like nice tight transitions. So it sounds like a track, right? So I'm really coming from like a production space to this, using those production techniques and bringing it into modular, which is a little difficult to do actually. Modular, there's a lot of you have to route things in a specific way, but I think I've figured out a good flow now, which I like.
Yeah, that's cool. I had a couple of weeks ago, say, Cult of One, also that was who was also in the techno, and I think I know Julia Bonar also that does also. There's a few people that do modular and techno or dance music. I lost the video on the other camera, so we'll fix that during your performance. So I use Instagram to show your
that's
gear.
Cool.
I was trying to swap.
All good.
Yeah, no, it's all good. As I said before, so anybody who's on the chat, please say hi, or watching this stream, please say hi. I like to give shout out to people watching, and if you've got some question also to ask Hexmode, please type it on the chat, and the usual subscribe, like, follow, etc., etc. So like this, everything is awesome. So also I think you talk about a little bit the local community, and I think Fiona and Andy told me, hey, I've got a friend also that has got a modular, you should talk to him. So I think that's how we got. But how do you feel the local communities, and what's your take on it? Or
yeah, no, I think it's a great community. I mean, I just love the modular community generally, like worldwide is great. Everyone is like very helpful, and people get excited over like the smallest module. It's kind of hilarious, actually. I post a lot in like the Facebook eurorack group, and like my highest rating post was this like tiny like low pass gate module that I bought. It was like $30, and that was like the one that people got excited about, not the like $600 like amazing oscillator. Anyway, it's here it's very interesting. Just generally, it's an interesting community. But Bay Area, obviously really interesting too. A lot of great events. I mean, you throw your one at the LinkedIn Day, I just love all the different approaches to modular. There's just like infinite ways to approach it, and going to the resonant frequencies events, resident events, people really bring. I just learned so much, and I feel like my setup is like sort of overkill for what I'm trying to do, but other people see it differently. But then some people have really small systems, but they're making such amazing music with it. So it just, everyone is very collaborative and helpful and like really understanding. I mean, I think any modular event, you have to be very forgiving, to say the least, of people's performances, because it's so raw, and there's just so much room for mistake, and I think that's part of the sort of magic of the modular, right? Is like it sort of does its own thing sometimes. You're like, oh, that was a crazy pop of crazy noise that just came out of nowhere because I just twisted this knob a little bit too much, and you just won't know until that happens. And so I think the community is really awesome, and just very they definitely want to help each other and just listen to each other, which is great. I wish it'd be great to like bring it to a larger audience, but obviously I think that will happen over time. People still want the like solid tight transitions, like DJ transitions, which it's tough to achieve, I think, with modular.
Yeah, and also it's art, and it's an art space. You see artists also. People make mistakes, but many times the public doesn't hear them, doesn't notice them, but it's because it's you. I should have done that transition and I missed it. And,
you're right.
But people say, yeah, I don't know, I didn't notice that.
You're right. The people were our worst critic, right?
Yeah. I guess. I think we were talking also, like if you go to a concert, a philharmonic orchestra, everybody knows the partition, and if somebody misses a note, then everybody notices you missed that note. In modular, it's improvisation, so nobody has a partition to follow or to know that this is what's happening next, and so.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I didn't think about, like an orchestra, it's like, you're playing specific pieces and everyone knows the piece, and if there's like 2 notes wrong, people would get it. But yeah, you're right. With modular, there's no, at least, especially the way I play, it's like, I don't even have most things planned. It's purely off the cuff. But yeah, I like that sort of, there's an artist called Surgeon, who is really like influential. I mean, inspirational, not influential. And his thing, he made a really, really good quote. It's like, you're with modular, you're sort of at the edge of failing all the time, and you really have to be. It sort of gives you a drive to feel it more and really go with the mistakes and make the mistakes into a pattern, a new pattern, right? I think that's a skill that takes some time to achieve, but it's really you really have to like lean into that mistake and not make it make us. Here, it's interesting. Someone else said it, I think it was Malar. He was like Malar Melodies. He was like, it's only a mistake if it hasn't been looped 4 times. You know, because if you only hear it once and then it goes away, or people are like, was that a mistake? But if you loop that same thing like 4 to 8 times, it was like, oh, that's a pattern, you know. So I think that's like what I try to do as well with mine. Like, oh, that's like a weird noise. I'm like, all right, let me just keep it going here and let's see what I can do with it. So
yeah, it's a kind of getting intimate with your system, so you know what sound you can produce, and if one comes weird, then you say, oh, I can build up on this one by this stuff because I know it's there.
Filtering is great for that, right? Filter it, like, oh, okay, and then bring it slowly back in, and then it's like, oh, it's a natural progression.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, there's a typical one when you push the on the filter, when you push the resonance too high, and then it goes way up in the high, but you do it 4 times and that's no part of yourself.
Exactly. I'm very careful with resonance. For some reason, I don't touch resonance because it gets really crazy, like very quickly. So I'm kind of scared of resonance, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's really in the high hand, so it's really a voice that go sharp into your whatever you're doing, because now you hear it. But sometimes that brings a little bit of madness. I don't know. I like it sometimes on the resonance, bring a little bit of madness in the high hand, because I don't know. Usually there's not too much happening in the really high hand.
You're right. That's a good point. I think it's interesting that people they really like that filters oscillate, and they use that as a voice. And I think that's kind of an interesting. I've never done that before. I just think, why would you use a oscillating filter? Why would you use a filter as a voice? But some people really want that feature. It's kind of an interesting. I never really understood that.
Oh yeah, the self-oscillating filters. Yeah.
People really like self-oscillating filters. I think it's interesting.
Well, there's some part of it. It's a little bit hard to tune, so it brings a little bit of chaos into it when you get it through. We are reaching the half past. So that's usually when I go over the performance. So I'm going to launch that, and then we can talk about it just after, and also talk about your training video.
Sure. With Ableton, yeah.
Yeah, with Ableton. So everybody stay here. I'm going to launch Hexmode performance that he just made this morning, and we'll see you after, and then please feel free to comment and chat and everything. Wanted to hear your views also about techno, and if you like techno, if you like dance music, and what draws to you in the chat. All right, I have to remember which one I put it. Give me a second, because okay, that's the one. All right, let's go to it. I see what was happening. Sorry. I was looping on my YouTube. Welcome back, everybody. So why do I hear it still? I'm still looping on my YouTube. Yeah, so that was really nice. And on the technical difficulty, I realized that on my Restream chat, I was not getting the YouTube chat. So I see everybody is here. I'm with Hexmode. So let me see who I missed. I see Dylan's. Sorry. I see Dylan Sang here. I see Alex Barnett. I see also Malarkey earlier. Peronosphora. And now Ben is here. They were saying nice drop. Sound is great. I see Modular Society is here. Skamal Dub. And Synthsong Music also with us. So that's really awesome. And everybody, plenty clap, plenty whoop, nicely, everything awesome. So I guess I still have your Instagram up there. Sorry, I'm moving. I'm gonna repost the Instagram, on both chat because I don't know. I have a Restream chat bug. It posts somewhere, but not everywhere. Anyhow, I think it's time to. First question is that what inspired you to make that music? What was your idea when you did that?
Yeah, good question. So I can hear myself echo, by the way. I don't know.
You're fine with me. I guess maybe.
So, yeah, I mean, like, I just like repetitive, heavy dance music. But no, this style, I think one thing I'm very, very cognizant about with modular, and I try to avoid, is over repetition to a point where it gets boring. I'm very sensitive to transitions, nice transitions, sharp transitions that can evolve into something. Similar like when you're making a track, you have different elements, your breakdown, your build up, pre-build up, all that stuff. So I'm really trying to emulate a full production in modular. And I've picked really heavy bassline oscillators, like the shapeshifter. I don't know if you could see this.
Okay, let me change my...
Yeah, I can just give you a quick overview of my rig here.
Okay, here we go. I change the screen.
Okay.
So don't move too much the camera.
Yep.
You're gonna get people seasick.
Yeah. Okay, so my sequencer is the Beatset Pro. So that's running. You can see all the drums named here, different types of drum samples. I use this single sequencer. It actually has two sequencers, but I just use one to make the bass lines. On the modular side, the Hexbander is my 6-channel mixer. I mentioned about that before, how that's routed. Oscillators are the shapeshifter and the plats. So I blend those together. So on this second rig here, I have a submixer. So this is my, Mutamix. So plats has 2 outputs, shapeshifter has 3, but I only use 2. So I can blend those in to like create additional build-ups or just intensity in the track. Your typical delays. Oh, grids is super important. So I have a micro grids in the corner. So that does my drum fills, which is really nice. So now I have this lapsus os from Noise Engineering, which sounds like a very simple module. All it is 4 sliders, 4 CV sliders. But each slider has 2 outputs. And so this is how I do with the majority of my transitions. I'm really happy I came across this sort of style. So I have the kick low, kick high passed, cutting out the lows.
High passed.
High pass, right? Yeah. So I have the kick. So this is kick high pass, which is very common in techno. Take out the kick, but still keep the high end going. So you still get that 4/4 trigger. I have a snare fill.
Yeah, so it's a low pass filter. If you keep the high.
It's not a low pass filter. You keep the high. It's a high. Whatever it is. You just keep the highs.
Yeah, it's an high pass. Sorry, I'm all confused. Yes.
Yep. So that's what I do with the kick. The snare, this is an important one. So the grids is great for this. So grids, I don't know what you call it. I call it like a density trigger sequencer. So the more you turn the knob, the more full the drums get. So I have that basically tied to this one slider. Then I have this just filter, this just low pass filter for both my synths. And then this is just like a modulator. I routed to the wave shaper in the shapeshifter, so that gives it a little bit of. It's interesting because I can change the sound of the oscillator, but also bring it back during drops. So basically, from like a performer's perspective, I can just go like this, bring all 4 sliders down, and that will make a drop. It's the best way I've found to make a drop in modular. So it does 4 things. It brings in the kick, it turns off the snare roll, it closes the low pass filter, so you only get the lows of the bass. And well, this one is not that necessary. It's really these 3 that are important.
Yeah.
And so that's how I figured out a way to do drops. And then the drums keep on going. I bring in drums in and out using the hex mix to also do sort of transitions and drops. But yeah, that's how this is set up.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, the drops are important in techno, or the what is it? Drops that are more like filtering.
Yep.
Rather than just a volume change.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I've got all that gone, and peronosphora said that was the camera work also on your performance was really awesome.
Thanks. I suck at videography. I'm trying to learn different shots, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool, and changing between camera angle gives a little bit of freshness to the video.
Yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I realize people have very short attention spans. So every 6 to 8 seconds, you have to change, and then it feels fresh. So I think that's why I do that.
Yeah. And especially, people have to go and switch on the sound. So first you attract them by the video work, and then they realize that they have to click on the sound button to hear it.
Yeah.
That was nice. And Tim Thompson is here also. Was the camera switching automated?
No, I use multi-camera sequence in Premiere. There's a nice function where you can just press 1, 2, or 3 and it switches between cameras and records the transitions. So still getting used to that, but I finally figured it out. But yeah, I think that's kind of important now for live performance if you're doing it visually, is to be able to do this camera switching. I'm planning on doing more outdoor live performances. So I'm trying to build up my video game to make it refreshing and sort of new.
And I had, I should wait, shifting back on you. Also, I think Alex Barnett was asking, do you have your setup on a modular grid?
I do, but I haven't updated it in a while. I've got a bunch of new modules, so I will actually, it's a good question. I need to get back onto it. I'll try to get at it today. So maybe by tomorrow you can have the rig. How do I share it?
I guess, I don't know, post it on your Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Take a picture of it and post it on Instagram, and I think you can't link on Instagram or maybe on your Facebook, but you can link on Instagram, but you have to give your, username on Modular Grid so people can find it.
Okay, I'll do that. It's a good idea.
Yeah. We've got Scamelda who say, oh, nice tip on Premiere. So you have to have the camera, yes. You need to get a couple of cameras.
iPhones are fine, honestly. Even old iPhones is fine. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I've got my 2 iPhone, and either if I'm doing a pre-recorded, then I'm going to record on the phone directly, and then do all the camera work in. I use Final Cut, same shit.
Final Cut.
Yeah. But also there's a little software that you can install on your iPhone that will link it with OBS, so you can use your iPhone as an OBS camera. So that's quite neat. So that can save me 2 purposes at the same time. But I bought also a specific camera, so I don't have to rig and set up the software. So I at least have one camera which is always ready if I need it.
Yep.
Okay, Alex Barnett said, nice follow up on Instagram. How can you do phone to Premiere live? You just record it and then you save the file on your computer and then you mix it in Premiere. That was Skamal that was asking some video editing
Video
tips.
editing. I don't know shit about video editing. I'm the wrong guy.
Yes. But yeah, you just record it on your iPhone, and then once you finish, you save the file to your computer, and then you put it all together. And I know Premiere or Final Cut are very good to if you've got a bad audio track. Even if it's a bad audio track, as long as you've got the audio track, you will sync all the video together. You don't need to have a time code.
It's important to have the audio. So like that's how you sync. One thing I learned the hard way is syncing audio and video has to happen separately. So I have a Zoom recorder that records my audio.
Hold on, I'm changing one more time. Show it to me.
I just have a Zoom. I just bought this Zoom recorder, so that's recording the audio. But then you just, that's just the audio file, but you have to sync it up with the video. But so what I do is I just do claps to start the video. I should buy a clapper.
Yes.
Those things actually have a purpose. It's not just like, start a movie. It's like,
Yeah, it makes a sharp noise on your stuff, and that's really easy. You can see it, and you can sync it, even manually, visually. But no, the software is able to do that, so that's quite cool. I think I had also... Oh yeah, all that gone, so... I was asking, how has being online influenced how you present your work?
A lot, honestly. Like I said, I'm learning this video side of it. I'm trying to... Right now, this table that I have, I want to do more outdoor gigs, and so I'm trying to make it portable. There's a certain point where having a wall of modular stuff is just, it looks amazing. But functionality-wise, like, are you going to get good music out of it is like a whole different story. So I've really tried to really create the groove box in like 1-2 boxes max. And these connect, so these are the IntelliJ cases. So I can connect these vertically or flat like this. If you've been to any of the resident shows when I used to play before, I always have this up, but I realized from a performer's perspective, like looking at the audience, it blocks them. So sometimes I perform with my back towards the audience. What's his name? The Dutch guy does that.
Colin Benders?
Colin Benders, yeah. So that guy, he performs either sideways, like he's to your side, like a piano player, or to his back, because he has a huge wall, right? It's like 10 feet of modular. So that's fine if it's 10 feet of modular, but if it's like this tiny modular, it's kind of annoying. So I've tried, so now I don't actually even need the second one. I can do all of it in the first one. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with the second one. Right now it's just mostly effects and additional layers. But I think it definitely, from a video perspective, it has changed my rig because I want to be able to, look out to the audience like a DJ. That's the goal.
Yeah, I do that also. I've got my modular, which is folding, so I can see above it and see the audience, but they don't see me. So if there's visualists, then that's okay. They're going to see the pretty video, the video, and then I match the music. Otherwise, I have a camera and then a small video projector, and then I just point it at my rig, so like people can see on the wall behind me or on the side.
I think
all the manipulation.
It's interesting that like this conversation has become like half video, half modular, right? Because I think that's an important part of the modular is actually showing what you're doing, and figuring out the best way to visually show what exactly people just to see your shit from the top. But people are like, oh, you're actually doing something. That knob is changing the sound in a certain way, and then people decipher it. I think that like element of ooh, that's what he's doing. That's that's happening is interesting for people. And so the video aspect of it is, I wouldn't say as important, but it is important.
Yeah, it's part of the performance, showing that you are performing right here, right now. You're not behind the gear and playing an MP3.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I saw one place where we were doing the show, which was at the Armory Club, so downstairs, and what was nice that behind us was a mirror wall.
A mirror.
So people could see all the stuff. You didn't have to do anything, but just by looking at the mirror, then you could see the performance was cool.
That could be a cool tool, right? Like if you're performing, you just have a mirror behind you, and people can see themselves, and they're like, oh, well. And then they could also see your gear.
So Scamaldo, it's the first time I saw Daedalus. I was impressed by this title Monome. Okay, yes, the thing is replying to some other people. We're getting about roughly the time. I think there's one topic that we didn't talk about, which was your Ableton training.
Yeah. So I partnered up with an Ableton certified trainer, this guy Liam Shai, who's also a modular artist. And me and him did, he did a piece on introduction to modular for people who had never done it before on his website. And then he brought me in for the part 2 of performance, and I talked through the rig similar to this. Which is super fun. And he got Ableton to sort of put their blessing on it. Ableton is obviously trying to get more into the modular world. They have CV tools now in the new Ableton Live, which I haven't used yet. I don't have an ES8. I used to have an Expert Sleep, audio interface. You do need an audio interface like the Expert Sleepers ES8, ES9. But anyways, it was great. Maybe Frank, you could link to it afterwards. I post all my videos on my YouTube channel. So that video, as well as the one you saw today, I'll be posting on my Hexmode YouTube channel. You can check that out.
I'm posting the link of the Ableton and the YouTube channel, so it's in the chat. Yeah. And I've got it on the screen here. Got my tab browser. Tim Thompson is saying that he had a friend who measures the amount of performing someone was doing in pips, performance input per second.
Yeah, mine is like 200% or whatever. I'm always doing something, and it's important what I'm doing. It's not like I kind of just make fake DJ movements.
Yes. So we are arriving. We passed the top of the hours. Just want to make sure that we talk everything that you wanted to talk about. And I don't know if you have got any projects or performance or other things, or you want to shout out to people.
I'm, just, I know it's a quarantine and it sucks right now. We can't really hang out with people and jam. I would love to jam with people at some point. Whatever sort of guitar parties we're allowed to throw in some future modular parties would be great. So if people have any ideas on how to do that, I have some nice speakers, outdoor speakers. So we could throw like a modular garden party somewhere. That'd be cool. Project-wise, I'm going to be doing a lot of outdoor performances. Planning on doing like a road trip, bringing my modular with me, bringing all this filming equipment, and that's the future of this, and just doing more performances and in cool places.
All right, so sounds cool. I'm going to move back to this view, and I'm going to go back over the news, and then we are going to say bye to everybody unless somebody has got a question. But let's go back for me on the news and wrap up this awesome session. So pitchymango.org, that's my website. Please have a look. It's always nice. I want to thank all my Bandcamp supporters. This is a little bit my tip jar for this show. Would be awesome to have you as a supporter. It's $20 a year. Take 15 made some awesome design, and which with a robot and space and very retro and the synthesizer, so you can have it on the t-shirt. It's on my shop, so you can wear it around everywhere. Let me post the link. We've got Resonant Frequency, so I say this is this Sunday at 6 p.m. and there's an awesome lineup. Okay, let me get the link into the chat. Suddenly Restream chat is working again, so that's awesome. I've got Resonant Frequency. So usually I post all my shows on beimproviser.com. It's on Facebook also, but I like that site because I'm not managing it, and it's on Facebook, so everybody can have access to it. So Bay Improviser has got sort of the event for Resident, which will be on October 13. I've got a full lineup, I haven't updated it. That looks like awesome. It's a pre-recorded video, and we're having a watch party with all the artists that made the video, and then so please see us on Tuesday, October 13th, so not this week, week after. You've got a Peak also. Peak is coming up on the, what did they say? 21 October at 7 p.m. and it's with Jordan, Michael, Francis, and Ayorez. Once again, I'm putting the link here in the chat, so everybody has got that for remembering. We've got the Sonic Alliance, who's got a show on the third Sunday of the month. It's at 5 p.m. and that's run and organized by FS. So this very nice album from Emily Asprag, you can get it as a vinyl, I think. There's a nice video and everything. I've listened to it, it's quite cool. It's a pre-order, but there is you can start to listen to it. There is a Sand Booth also, which is coming up, so that sounds maybe like in 2 weekends. Virtual exposition and everything. I think this is more or less organized by people from the north part of the West Coast, so synthbooth.com. So another modular synth event. And you've got Northfest, one more time. NorCal Noise Fest, which is happening right now, and you've got some awesome performers, and the video on YouTube for yesterday is all published. I'm just checking if I miss anything, and if somebody wants to tell me, I forgot to name that show or that event that's happening. And I think you've got some usual event with the Colorado Modular Synth Society and the New York Modular Society. They've got event every week. I think yesterday Colorado had a listening party, a Bandcamp listening party. Invite like 4 or 5 people, and roughly what are you listening on Bandcamp right now? So here we go. That was really nice to have you, Hexmode.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. And let me do a recap of the shout-out of the people that I saw. Peronosphora, Alex Barnett, Skamal Dub. I think you're a new one. I hope to see you next week again. Dylan Sang, Synthsor Music, Tim Thompson, Peronosphora, All That Gone. Also Anna Ben, also Synthsor Music. Did I say it? Malaki. Yeah, say All That Gone. Oh, Eshatan Lak also say hi. So, and Forest Sign was here also earlier. So thank you very much, everybody. And I think Udemy was here, and we are still asking him if he has a dancing baby or not. So that was really awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks, Hexmode, for being on this show.
Thanks, man. Good to be here.
All right. Bye, everybody. I'm launching the outro.